Back in 2018, I got this card, was still in college, and hailed it as the best grocery card with a no annual fee. Well, a lot of things have changed since then, and this card has too. So in this video, I'll be going over those changes, and we'll be evaluating whether this card is still worth a place in your wallet in 2023. So back in July of 2022, Amex made quite a few changes to this card, including adjusting the categories and also giving it a facelift. While I still prefer kind of the old design, it was just so unique. Here's a side-by-side comparison if you guys are interested. I think this current design is just a little bit too similar to the Cash Magnet card, which is a completely different card. But something I appreciated when I actually saw this card in person is the little translucency in the middle here. So that's still pretty neat. I think they could have done a little bit better with just simply renaming it as well. As you can see, there are a few cards that have Everyday in it. There's the Amex Everyday card, but this is the Amex Blue Cash Everyday card. And honestly, the Everyday and the Everyday Preferred are really due for a refresh themselves, if anything, but that's a whole nother video. So just to clarify, I'm talking about the Blue Cash Everyday card here. So what has changed since 2022 includes an additional 3% back on gas, 3% back on online retail, each of those respective categories. In addition to the already 3% back on groceries, you can earn that 3% up to $6,000 of spend per calendar year. And here's just a clarification of what online retail actually is. So the complete purchase needs to happen online on a website or via app, and it has to be for something that sells physical goods or merchandise directly to consumers. So unfortunately, just because you paid for something online doesn't mean it will qualify for this category, so you do want to be aware of this. Another highlight of the change includes no more redemption minimum. So it used to be $25, which is pretty ridiculous. So now you can redeem your cash back as little as 1 cent as statement credit if you wanted. The sign-up offer terms are also changed quite a bit, so now it's $200 after $2,000 of spend within the first 6 months of getting the card. But if you use my referral link, which I'll put in the description, you can actually get $250 currently after $2,000 of spend within the first 6 months. And they've also added a few special bundles like Disney Plus, Home Chef, and also ShopRunner if you are wanting to use those services. They did, of course, remove a few other things, but I think they're kind of reasonable, especially for this no annual fee kind of entry-level card. So they removed the 2% back at select department stores, which is kind of random anyways, removed the ability to redeem the reward dollars for anything else other than statement credit. So it used to be you can redeem it for gift cards or other merchandise, but honestly, statement credit is still the best redemption anyway, so for me, I didn't really care about that. But they also removed things like return protection, 24/7 roadside assistance, warranty extension, travel accident insurance. But even though I think those are great perks, the everyday consumer usually doesn't take advantage of these perks anyways, so I can see why they removed them. So that was a summary of the updates since the 2022 refresh. Now, just a recap of the highlights of this card. It does have no annual fee, so as long as you pay off your balance every month, there's no fee to own this card. And they have that sign-up bonus, which I just mentioned. Make sure to use my referral link again in the description if you want to have a higher sign-up bonus than the public offer currently. And again, to recap, the category spends are 3% back on groceries, and this doesn't include any wholesale clubs like Costco, Sam's Club, no superstores like Target or Walmart. And you also get 3% back at gas, 3% on online retail. Each of those three categories have a cap of $6,000 of spend before it reverts down to 1% for every calendar year. And anything that falls outside of those categories, you just get 1% back on everything else. And Amex does a great job of being very transparent on how much cash back you earned. You can track your progress both online and also in the app, and directly look at the transaction that you made to see what category it was coded at right after it posts. And then you're able to redeem your reward dollars as little as 1 cent as statement credit to your account at any time. Unfortunately, at this time, Amex still doesn't allow you to transfer your reward dollars directly into your bank account, which is a real shame because there are a lot of other credit card issuers that allow you to do this. But at least Amex is up to date in terms of allowing you to use this card with your digital wallet, so Apple Pay, Google Pay, and also via contactless payment. Beyond the benefits associated specifically to the Blue Cash Everyday card, American Express also has a lot of extra perks, including their excellent customer service, their very easy to use chat system and very responsive chat system. That also is built into their website and also to their app. Really love the app. I can do most of my stuff that I need on the app, including, again, easy to track my spending, see how much cashback I will be getting per transaction, earn even more cash back via Amex offers, and just posting here on the screen are some of the past offers I have utilized. I'm not a really big brand spender, so they still have a lot of very common and useful offers that you can take advantage of. I'm just putting some of them on the screen here, and you can see over time, over just I think 2 years of me using Amex offers, I've saved hundreds of dollars. Amex also have their own kind of travel discounts and special events discounts, though I personally have not taken advantage of these, but they're worth a look if you're into those kind of things. But something that I have used is definitely to look up my FICO score, which they have via Experian, and in case I do lose my card or something, I can easily lock the card right from the app as well. Also, Amex provides purchase protection and fraud protection on all their credit cards. And I really appreciate how much customization you have over your notifications. This level of customization is also incorporated into the authorized users. So normally when you add an authorized user, you can't really differentiate what spend is from the authorized user versus your own spending. But with American Express credit cards, your authorized users actually have different card numbers, so you can actually track what spend is theirs versus yours. This is something I wish other credit card issuers would adopt. But of course, the downside to being American Express is that it's on the American Express network, which a lot of vendors do not accept. But if you primarily just use this for groceries, gas in the US, then for the most part you should be fine. There may be some small local stores that don't accept Amex, which is understandable. And if you want to use this mainly for online purchases, it's also possible that for smaller sites they won't accept American Express either. But for the most part, it's not too bad. Now, in terms of user acceptance, whether or not you can get this card, it's super easy to get this card, especially if you are a beginner. So I got this card after only 6 months of credit history, only one prior credit card before applying, and my credit score was around 700, I think. So it was not particularly high, and I had no derogatory marks. So if that sounds like you, then you should have no problems getting this card. Now, I want to briefly talk about how competitive this card is now. It was definitely a different landscape back in 2018. Now, with quite a few other cards that have been released and changed over time, especially over the pandemic, even with these updates, this card is not as competitive as it was before. So kind of to put it into perspective, the Citi Custom Cash earns 5% back up to $500 of spend per statement period. So most people can just use this as their dedicated grocery card and they'll be fine. And you can actually change it up every statement if you wanted to. And you also have the Bank of America customized cash card, which you can select one of your 3% categories as online stores as well. And they will not be as strict with the online category because it's Visa. And I've even got it to work for things like donations. So that could even be your dedicated online shopping card or dedicated gas card. And if you were a super cashback power user, you would probably go with the Citi Custom Cash and the Chase Freedom Flex plus the Discover It, which are also 5% category cards. So my point is, this card is not as competitive as it was. But that's not to discount that it's still a pretty great card because you do get 3% back on 3 categories. So basically, if you are early into the credit card game or you don't want to mess with a lot of different cards and you know groceries and gas and maybe online shopping are your primary spending categories, then yeah, absolutely get this card. I really think with this refresh that this card now does live up to its name of being an everyday credit card. Hope you found this video helpful. Please give me a like if you did. Make sure you subscribe for more credit card videos like this, including an updated comparison video between this card and the Blue Cash Preferred card. Thanks for watching.